Hayuka, the EU is on the cusp of sealing a major trade deal with India. Tell us more.
Well, Sharon, the presidents of the European Commission and the European Council are both in New Delhi, and India really rolled out the red carpet for them, hosting them as guests of honor at the Republic Day parade today. The two sides are expected to sign a new free trade agreement at the EU-India summit on Tuesday, one that they've been negotiating since 2022, along with separate deals on investment protection and geographical indications. Even if signed, it will still have to go before the European Parliament for ratification, but it will be an important step for both the EU and India that are trying to diversify their trading partners in the face of Donald Trump's unpredictable trade policies, supply disruptions, and increasing competition from China. According to Brussels, the EU is India's largest trading partner, while New Delhi is the bloc's ninth largest. Bilateral trade in goods amounted to 120 billion euros in 2024, accounting for about 11% of India's total trade and 2% of the EU's. The volume has increased by some 90% over the past decade. Services trade amounted to almost 60 billion euros. Now, the Indian market is highly restrictive, with significant tariffs on foreign imports to protect vital sectors like farming. And while sensitive agricultural issues have not been part of the deal, Modi's government has reportedly agreed to cut import tariffs on EU cars from 110% to 40%. For its part, New Delhi wants to expand duty-free access to EU markets for things like textiles and jewellery.
Now, speaking of the markets, Yuka, the price of gold has reached another all-time high.
Well, the yellow metal has blasted past the $5,000 an ounce mark for the first time ever. It's eased slightly from the day's high, but it's still staying above the 5,000 mark. Silver also reached an all-time high and hit $117 an ounce earlier today. Investors and some governments have been diverting their money away from American assets such as treasury bonds and the dollar to hedge against geopolitical risks. Over the past year, the price of gold has surged more than 80% from below $3,000 an ounce to now over $5,000. It's more than doubled over the past 2 years. As for silver, it's gained a whopping 170% just over the past 6 months. The gold to silver ratio, which indicates how many ounces of silver can buy 1 ounce of gold, dropped from near 80 to below 50 just in the past 2 months.
And how about the stock markets, Yuka? How are they doing?
Well, US stocks broadly rose as investors await some big corporate earnings reports due out this week, including from Boeing, General Motors, Meta, Microsoft, and Apple. The Dow Jones Industrial Average gained 300 points, the S&P 500 rose 0.5%, and the Nasdaq also eked out mild gains this Monday. Mining company USA Rare Earth skyrocketed as much as 20% at one point this Monday and closed up 8% after the Commerce Department said the administration would invest $1.6 billion into the firm.
Finally, to China, where the approach of the Lunar New Year has brought an unlikely viral trend.
Well, during the period leading up to the New Year holiday, families and friends often buy presents to wish each other good luck. 2026 will be the year of the horse, and among the 12 animals in the Chinese zodiac, it symbolizes vitality, speed, and energy. But instead, this year is seeing an unexpected success of a sad-faced cuddly horse resulting from a production error, and it's got something to do with China's working culture. Brian Quinn explains.
Same doll, different mood. As the Lunar New Year approaches, Chinese shoppers are snapping up an unlikely mascot. This plush horse should be smiling, but a mix-up at the factory has turned that smile upside down and created a viral sensation in the process.
The crying horse came about because a worker sewed its mouth upside down by mistake. A lot of customers say it makes sense, that it suits the spirit of today's corporate slaves.
In the Chinese zodiac, 2026 is the year of the horse. To celebrate its arrival on February 17th, gift givers would generally opt for an auspicious symbol. But China's domestic economy is in a prolonged slump, with consumer spending lagging the global average by some 20% of GDP. The country's youth unemployment rate hit a 2-year high of nearly 19% last August before easing to around 16.5% in December. Those who do find white-collar jobs often find the conditions to be frown-inducing, with long hours and high stress commonplace. There's even a nickname for such exhausted employees, 牛妈, or cow and horse.
I understand. It's a kind of emotional value that young people look for these days. When you go to work, sitting there, feeling like you want to cry. Then when you get off work, you're immediately happy, right?
The factory has had to add 10 new production lines to keep up with the tens of thousands of orders flowing in daily, a fitting response for the Year of the Horse, which symbolizes both progress and perseverance.
Well, let's wish these cow and horse workers a very good new year.
Yuka, thank you so much for all of that. Yuka there with all the day's business news.